Another very short little video, and this is about a Midland I've been messing around with. This is a strange little radio, a Midland 77-1165. I've got to have it written down because, you know, mostly we have easily remembered model numbers, or Midland 2001, 3001, 4001. But no, this is a strange little one which is new to me, very new to me. Let's just plug it in to give it some power. There we are. You can see it's a push button operated. You've got a channel 9 button and you've got up and down button here for the other channels. So put it on sort of channel 19, 2, 3, 4, 7, 18, 19. So there we are, strange little radio. Turn the volume up. The Squelch works without a microphone plugged in, so you can receive without a mic, which is quite useful really, because there's a lot of CBs around and if you don't have a mic you can't test them. But this one seems to have a common fault, this model. I've heard of other people with the same fault. There's even a fellow with a YouTube video with the same fault, and what it is, the Squelch control completely stops working. And here is the Squelch knob. Here's the Squelch control removed, and the Squelch control, that little piece is supposed to be glued onto it there, if it shows up on the video. And what happens when they build these, this is soldered onto the printed circuit board, whereas other CBs with the 2781 era, and this is a 2781 CB, they have the potentiometers, Boeing and Squelch, on the front panel, and then have wires joining it to the printed circuit board. But this is done differently. The actual potentiometer is soldered on the printed circuit board, and then the front panel is pushed on. And if this is too snug and too tight on the printed circuit board, when they put the front panel on, it's under tension, because the front panel's got a very small hole for it to fit. It's under tension all its life, and what seems to happen over a period of time, it snaps, and then the actual bit with the connections on snaps off the potentiometer, it loses electrical connection, and your Squelch stops working. So it's a fairly easy fix. A little bit fiddly because it's a tiny radio to work on, but that is this little Midland. So we've done that. The other thing about it, which makes our life difficult, is it uses a very unusual microphone, quite a chunky microphone, and it uses one of these electret microphones. I nearly said FET. Using an electret microphone with an up and down button on it, and of course those are very hard to come by. Nobody seems to be selling a suitable microphone. I suppose it would be possible to adapt a microphone for another kind of CB radio, but there's nothing compatible, and there doesn't seem to be a standard with the up down buttons. So if you get a microphone with up down buttons and rewired it to fit, the up down buttons probably wouldn't work. And it also uses the DIN type microphone connector in the side, not the 4-pin plugs or 5-pin plugs that we have on most CBs. So to get it working, I've used one of these coffin type microphones that we all know about, which are quite commonly available from various sources, and we'll plug that in. And when you get it the right way round to plug in, which way round does it go? There. There we go. Right, coffin mic plugged in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And everything is working perfectly. But what you need to be aware of is that because this is intended for an FET microphone, it sends power down the wire to the microphone to power the FET, the electret microphone. Why do I keep calling them FETs? That's because they've got an FET in them. So what you have to do, you have to wire your coffin type microphone with the right pins to fit the DIN plug, but then you have to open up your coffin microphone and put a capacitor, an electrolytic capacitor. In my case I've used a non-polarity type that will go either way round, or dual polarity or whatever they call them. Otherwise you have to be careful which way round you put it. But you need to put a capacitor in the lead that the audio goes down the microphone on, which is what I've done. So this is a perfectly standard dynamic mic with a capacitor fitted in the audio lead, and that way it blocks the power coming down to power an electric microphone, and you can use a perfectly standard dynamic mic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's all there is to it. So if you come across one of these, you have the potential fault with the squelch, and you have to replace the squelch potentiometer. And then if you cannot obtain a microphone, which is extremely difficult, you can use a coffin microphone with a capacitor in the audio lead to block the power. And it doesn't modify the radio at all. So if in the future you manage to get an electric microphone which will work on it, you can put that in instead, because the radio hasn't been modified. So that's a couple of useful little tips for this little tiny Midland, which I do rather like. I do like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do like it, but very novel. So we shall now put it back in its case, and that's another radio completed and rescued from the scrappy, because when it came here it was not working at all. The power lead had been cut off it short. It had no power lead and no microphone and no squelch. But now it's saved, it's rescued, and it will now go to a good home, to a collector of the 2781 series of CB radios, because this is one of the more unusual CB 2781s.